What's up guys, welcome back. So today is a very exciting video. As you can tell by the title, I created my very own editing app and it is officially available for download. Literally, it feels so crazy to be sitting here saying that because I've been working on this for a minute. I'm sure you can just guess how long something like this would take, and I feel like I'm not very good at working on longer term projects. I feel like as a photographer, I just kind of love to move from shoot to shoot, and so something like this was a whole new experience for me. Me and my friend Jack kind of came up with the idea to create an editing app that had everything that we were looking for in a mobile editing app, and just had a super particular vision for kind of the overall look and vibe of the presets, the textures, the tools, all of it. So we got to work. We, created a whole LLC for the app. We outsourced a bunch of different people from, designers to developers, all these things that it takes to create something like this. And I'm just super excited to be able to walk through the app and edit a bunch of photos with you guys today. Show you guys how to use it and my favorite presets, my favorite textures, all the tools. Just a few things before we jump in. So the app is only available on the Apple App Store, and I know when I announced the pre-download phase of it all, I did see your comments about wanting it for Android and the Google Store and stuff. We're really hoping that that is a possibility in the future. I think we're just kind of seeing how this goes, and hopefully, we can create a whole new build for Android phones. The app is 100% free to download, but inside the app you'll get a few free presets and all the tools, but there'll be some unlockable textures and presets that you can use for a monthly fee. So the monthly fee is $4.99. I feel like this is very standard for photo editing apps. We did a lot of market research and found ourselves putting a price point that we felt was fair. This is also new to us, so we're just kind of testing the waters, and I'm sure we're gonna get a lot of feedback from you guys, and we'll see what sticks, what does well, and how we can kind of move from there and work with you guys. This logo was created by our designer Jacob, and he did such a good job at really encompassing the vibe we were going for. We created a bunch of mood boards and really worked with him and went through a bunch of different versions for how this would look, and I feel like the final version of our logo really set the tone for how the rest of the app would look. Once you open the app, you'll see a little animation and a little hack. If you want to get rid of this, you could just tap and it'll take you right to the app. It opens to a paywall page to just kind of explain what you can unlock. So you can see a bunch of previews and textures here, and you can actually tap through these and see a before and after with different presets applied. Even though this is just a paywall page, I feel like it's a really cool representation of the sort of vibe of Tint. Then here it prompts you to import your first photo. So on the left side we have all pics where all of your images will live, and then to the right of that we have an albums page where you can better organize your shoots. I'm usually importing like tons and tons of photos from shoots, and just to have this to be able to just stay on top of it and organized is a game changer for me. But on the bottom here you can see an import button, so we're just going to tap that, and I'm just going to go ahead and import a ton of different photos from our different Tint shoots. Here you can see them being imported, and then we can just go ahead and select one to start playing around with. I feel like we're gonna edit a few, but let's go with this photo of Lila. Once you tap the photo, you can see a sort of blue border around the image. That means it's selected. And on the bottom, you can either edit the photo, you can copy the edit, you can deselect it, you can paste the edit, you can save it, and then on the top right, you can also get rid of it. So I'm gonna obviously go and edit this image. So now we're prompted with a bunch of different presets here, as you can see. Burn, Muse, Slick, Heartless, and Haze as the free ones. Me and Jack really wanted to give variety of free ones for you guys to use, so if you can't afford this monthly fee, you can still use the app and play around with some of my favorite presets. As you go to the right, you can see we have a little Tint logo on the ones that are for purchase. I obviously want to show you guys all the presets, so I'm going to go ahead and unlock that. So now that we have access to all of the presets and the textures, I'm just going to go through some of these and find something that will look good on this image. Of course, every image is different, so different presets will look good with different photos. We have over 25 different presets to choose from. Some of my favorites are Platinum, I love Matrix, Cryptic. There's a bunch of really cool presets. This is a pretty heavily contrasted photo, I feel like, with it being shot in a studio with this white backdrop. And I feel like for this, I really am liking platinum. So I'm just gonna select that and bring it to about 70%. After that, we can head to our tools. And here we have a bunch of basic editing tools. We have crop, straighten, exposure, saturation, brightness, contrast. We also have a tint tool, of course. We also have a warp tool and a fisheye tool, which are really cool. But my two favorite tools here are the hue, saturation, and luminance tool and the curve tool. I use the curve tool within my own editing process so much. I feel like it's a great way to be really in control of those highlights, midtones, and shadows. And to make points on the curve tool, you just tap on it. And if you want to remove it, you just tap again. And if you tap on the photo itself, you can also see a before version of the photo you're editing, going in and just playing with different tools like the temperature, the tint, adding some grain, and also a little bit of sharpness. Our sharpen tool is really cool because it's pretty dramatic. If you increase it a lot, it sort of creates this almost like VHS look. So you have to be a little bit careful with adding too much or not. Introducing you now to our textures. So we have a film pack, a gradient pack, a grain pack, a long exposure pack, a paper pack, a prism pack, and a scanner pack as well. I made all these textures myself and I experimented with these on a ton of photos, just making sure that they look and feel good on every photo. But just kind of going in here to the paper pack and the grain pack, those are my two favorites, and just playing around with what looks good. Being able to have them all here for you to just kind of experiment with and play around with makes my editing process that much quicker. And just going back into different tools, you can always go back in time as well. What's cool is that we have a clear edits button, so if you just want to get rid of it and start from scratch, you totally can. And if you haven't already downloaded Tint by this time in the video, pause it, go do that, and then we can edit together. So I feel like this photo is looking good, so I'm just gonna click our little check mark, and that will save our edit and bring us back to the all pics page. Another one of my favorite parts about our app is that we can copy and paste edits, and this saves me so much time when I am importing a bunch of photos from the same shoot. So I have this other photo of Lila that was shot within similar lighting, you know, has the same outfit, similar highlights, and I'm sure that this previous edit we just did will work on that. So I'm just gonna head on over and copy and paste it to this other photo. I think it looks pretty good, but we can go in and fine tune it even more. So just playing a little bit more with the preset, and I think we're good. Moving on to this next image of Assad. We were shooting on top of a parking garage in LA. So I'm just gonna go in and play around with the presets, of course. I feel like the presets can really decide on how I want to edit the photo when I'm unsure, because they give you sort of baseline of different temperatures and tints. Just going into the HSL tool just so I can fine tune things that much more. I really wanted to edit this particular photo with you because of our long exposure pack. As you can see, this original image already kind of has some cool sort of light trails. I was shooting with a flash on maybe like a half a second to a second exposure, but what's really cool within this long exposure pack is we can just add more of those light trails. One of these actually looks really similar to what's happening in the background. It's called Long Exposure 7. So I'm gonna select that, play around with the rotation of that texture, bring down the opacity a bit, and then we're sort of good to go. We can make a few more adjustments. This is looking super sick. I'm gonna edit this photo of Hazel. This was on another one of our tint shoots. So just kind of going in and playing with the crop, just zooming in, making the composition more so how I would like it. Sometimes when I'm shooting, I don't quite get it on the first try, so going in and editing it and adjusting it later on is something I usually do. And I feel like I just really like how this Muse filter looks on it, so I'm just gonna select that, play a little bit with how much I want that turned up, and then just go in and play with all of our tools, making sure everything is how I want it. You know, whether you wanna make your photos a little bit warmer, adjust the contrast or highlights, or just add a little bit of filter, you can totally do that. But what's really cool is that you can take it to that next level and be super dramatic and playful with your images and do it in a way that feels really hands-on and in full control. So yeah, these are a bunch of images that both me and Jack have edited solely with Tint. We literally took the photo, airdropped it to our phones, and then threw it into Tint. And I think I'm just, you know, super proud of how this all came to be and where my photography is going as well. So once again, if you haven't already downloaded Tint, haven't, head on over to the App Store on your iPhone and do so. You can also stay up to date with us on Instagram at the Tint app. Me and Jack are really going in and trying to make our feed over there look really good. And if you do use the app, you can also post your photos with the hashtag Tint app. We're already working on another sort of update with more textures, more presets, a bunch of added tools, and we're really excited to see where this goes. So the link to download will be in the description, or you can just search Tint Photo Editor on the App Store. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and I'll see you soon.